Episode 5 Abraham Lincoln's Big Idea. Hi, and welcome back to the Optifast Lifestyle Education Series. This episode is the 5th in a series of topics, each one helping you with a different aspect of health, with an emphasis on weight management. Today, we're going to look at motivation and getting things off on the right foot. I'd like to begin with a quote which apparently comes from Abraham Lincoln. He said, "If you give me 8 hours to cut down a tree, then I will spend 6 hours sharpening my axe." I think this statement captures the importance of planning and preparation in any project, particularly one that involves your body and your own individual behaviours. So let's get it clear. What is your goal? Grab the worksheet, grab a pen, and write down in the first section what your goal is. You can see there is a space for you to define your goal in whatever measure you prefer, whether it's a goal weight or a clothing size or some other benchmark you have in mind for your body. I'll give you a moment to write this in, but don't worry about going into too much detail at this stage because we're going to talk in this episode about making changes, setting goals, and how to ensure you set yourself up for success from the beginning. Once you have your goal written down, we're going to do a little work on it. I'd like you to look at your goal and ask yourself, why are you wanting to make this change? Perhaps it's about how you look. Perhaps it's about something you are finding hard to do, such as a hobby or interest that you would like to pursue. Perhaps it's about other people. I've met plenty of individuals who seek to improve their health in order to enjoy more time with their children or grandchildren, for example. So take a moment to consider what and who this might all be for. You will be making a number of changes, and most changes take time and effort. It's important to keep your reasons in mind as you work on these changes. These reasons, the why, they will be your motivation and will probably keep you going with the changes you want to make when times get tough. On the worksheet, you will see some space to jot down some of your reasons why you are wanting to make the change you have in mind. So go ahead and put your why answers down. If you need a minute to think, you can just pause this episode and take all the time you need to commit these reasons to paper. Okay, now that you've stated your goal, the what, and your reasons for changing, the why, it's time to look at the how. Across each episode, this series will give you lots of strategies and ideas to help. But I'd like you to go first with the ideas. What are some of the steps that you might take to achieve the goal that you have set for yourself? Perhaps you will change the way you eat. Perhaps you will keep a food diary. Perhaps you will look at exercise of some sort, or some other aspect of your daily routine might change. I'd like you to take a moment to consider this. And again, you can pause me if you need to jot some of your plans down. All right, thanks for writing those down. I'd like to point something else out to you now that you might not have noticed. Okay, first, take a look at your goal. Perhaps it is a goal to get to a certain weight or clothing size. Now, let's think about your method for getting there. What I would like to draw your attention to is the relationship between those two things. Your goal, which is something that you desire, but which is not in your actual direct control, and your method, which is probably something that involves some action or activity on your part, and so it is in your direct control. Let me explain. If you think about it, changing the shape or size of your body is not something you actually have direct control over. You can control your body in some ways, such as the movement of your arms and legs. You can control your breathing to some extent, But there are lots of things about your body that you cannot directly control in this way, such as your body's size, or other things like your body's temperature, or whether you are asleep or awake. You can take steps to bring about changes in these things, like lying down and closing your eyes in order to help sleep come, or setting an alarm to wake yourself up. But these are only indirect ways of controlling your sleep. So it is with weight. You can set a goal for a change in weight, but you can only accomplish this change indirectly. Your plans for weight change represent the things you can control, such as the movements of your arms and legs to exercise, or the food and drink you consume. You will be doing these things in order to influence the thing that is not in your direct control, which is your body shape. The reason this is important is because a lot of people become unmotivated when they feel like their efforts are not working. They may be doing one or more activities to improve their health, but their weight may not change accordingly. This can lead to frustration and sometimes just giving up altogether. When you feel like you can't control something, it can sometimes be tempting to leave it alone. But I'd like to propose a solution to this problem. I'd like you to change your original goal a little. If you look at whatever you wrote down for your goal at the beginning, it's probably something that is not in your direct control. So if you look down to the end of the worksheet, there is another space to write your goal down a second time, but this time I'd like you to make the goal something that is in your direct control. For example, if your original goal was to be able to fit into size 12 pants, and your method to achieve this was to go for a walk every morning, then I would just simply like you to make the method the goal. So now, your new goal is simply to go for a walk every morning. This has a few advantages. The first is that your goal is now something within your direct control. And the second advantage is that you will know whether you are achieving your goal or not, and probably why. So now we have a new goal, and it's something you can directly control. If you like, you can add some details to your goal. You can specify a time frame for yourself to carry out your activity. You can also decide on a marker of success. How will you know if you're achieving your goal? Make sure your goal is realistic as well. Try to imagine yourself doing the thing you've set for yourself to do, and make sure that you are planning something that you feel confident you really will be able to do, given all of the other things you've got going on in your life. Thanks for listening. Looking after yourself is a terrific thing to do and will bring benefits not only to you, but to the other people in your life as well. So keep going. It's working. Remember to be kind to yourself along the way, and I'll see you next time.